So Shweta, wanted to kind of understand in today's digital AI age, right? What
Mhm.
are the qualities or skills that young professionals or students should develop to become leaders, whether it is building a personal brand or anything along that line as well.
Yeah, so I think the way we grow up is changing. I think technology is kind of penetrating a lot more than it did like 10, 15 years ago while we were studying and we were students. So I think one of the very important things for young people or whoever is responsible to kind of educate young people should be to focus a lot on um, obviously technology is kind of adding a lot of value, but what are the ways in which technology is kind of trying to, or in a way even unintentionally, kind of hampering you. So obviously I think building a brand is important like you mentioned, but then, and technology helps, but then not let technology kind of overpower you in a way where the technology starts controlling you. So that is one area that I think a lot of, because if you like, I do try to read up as much psychology and neuroscience of how our uh, how we develop and how our brains develop. And at a college I was talking about how, like, how the future will look with technology and how our growths our growth cycles and growth curves will be impacted by technology. And one of the things that is happening right now, uh, which is very hampering to younger folks, and uh, not just, I would say, younger folks, but to all of us, is we are all high on dopamine because of the amount of time we are ending up spending on social media and phones. And that is like that is almost as good as an addiction. And it kind of impacts us in ways which is only visible after many, many, many years, and after enough damage has been done, and a good amount of that damage is irreversible. I think with technology and AI penetrating into our systems, it's very important to learn about these things. I think schools and colleges should learn about these things, should teach about these things, on what are the ways in which it impacts. So I think there should be a strategic kind of a course, which I don't see existing as of now. What are the ways in which technology impacts your growth, both positive and negative, how to use technology for you, and how to make sure that technology, like, you don't become for the technology, right? And a lot of technology today, social media and everything, it's designed in a way to hook you onto it. And the idea is data collection. If you look at the Cambridge Analytica case, what happened, the Great Hack is a documentary on that. If you look at Social Dilemma, it talks about how the tech ecosystem is kind of taking uh, control of your life. And the idea is to have that data, right? Why is it free? Because they collect that amount of data. So I think it's very important for younger people. Uh, and one of the key, I would say, areas to focus on, to understand what are the ways in which technology has a very positive impact, has can have a very positive impact on my growth. What are the ways in which it's hampering, and try to kind of use it as much, leverage this side as much as possible, and mitigate this side of it. I don't see that education enough in the system right now, and I think it's very important.
Got it.
Yeah, education and regulations. I think to your point, it doesn't kill people, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't kill people right away. So there's no regulations also. But if something kills people, they will, the governments regulate things, right? But this technology doesn't. It's a
Yeah.
gradual, long-term effect with no tangible, observations happening, downside observations, right? So there's no regulations also. But I think over time, all these things will happen and
Yeah,
should happen, right? So
mostly the damage is visible over a very long
long
period of
period.
time, 10 years, 15 years. and to even conduct a study, it will take 15 years. By the time, like, what's happened to the people who went through all of that in the 15 years?
Because
So
it's all mental, right? So you
Yeah.
yeah,
cannot really
Yeah,
quantify
there's no
yeah,
experience. It's all
tangible,
okay.
things that you can see, right? Nobody's
Correct.
dying of it today, right?
yeah,
So there's no
Right,
regulations.
and
Yeah.
people are getting influenced by it.
yeah,
Data collection one part, but they
yeah,
are also using technology to influence
yeah,
people
yeah.
and the minds, and
So the Cambridge
outcomes are
Analytica,
being changed.
yeah. So the Cambridge Analytica study is like, that whole case study is all about how the decision of people were changed, the political decisions of people were changed towards like one particular side, and it's very dangerous. It can be used in a very dangerous way. I
Right.
think there's not enough education and information around that in the system right now. And that's also a great opportunity for someone to kind of go solve it. But like he said, it's a very difficult thing. Like, especially the Instagram reels that you see, it doesn't kill you, obviously, but then it 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 instigates a desire for instant gratification, which eventually leads to you having very less, I would say, what he mentioned, persistence eventually in life, right? Very less patience in life, very less amount of, I would say, grit to stick to something. So it eventually kind of impacts you in ways that you can't see right now. It will be visible in like 10, 15 years. So I
Yeah,
think there's
I
a there's
think
a
it's
gap.
become more manipulative now. See,
Yeah,
earlier you open the app, I open the app, you get the same, content, right? Now it's all
yeah,
customized to
yeah,
manipulate you based on
yeah,
your demographic pattern, purchasing pattern, your income, all the data. So now that's become manipulative. We have become
Yeah,
the
and
product now.
sadly, people, a lot of the people don't understand how it works, right? I mean, we
yes,
might understand how it works, but
Correct.
most people don't,
yeah.
and
And just to
it's
add to what he said, regulation, I think China has done it, where it has kind of prescribed a certain kind of content, which is only educational in nature, which is kind of regulated content, educational in nature for a certain age group. So obviously, most of the content that we see is entertainment, but China has some kind of a regulation. I don't know the details, but it has some kind of a regulation.
That is China
Yeah,
is a screwed up model. Regulated content means I want you to see what I want you to see.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
it should be I believe it should be an individual's decision with all the options available, and it's a wise decision. You educate them to take the wise decision. If
yeah,
you start enforcing certain things,
yeah,
that's how China screwed up its current
yeah,
economy.
yeah.
yeah. So I think this is extreme, right? So I think somewhere between
Somewhere
the
in the middle,
zero to
Balance.
extreme,
right?
that somewhere the magic
um,
spot has to
Yeah,
be there, right?
because
So
I think the if you're giving the choice to the if you're giving the choice to decide to a teenager, you also have to ensure that they have very strong decision making skills.